basically, there's like the meme format that like the Illuminati symbol, you like hide it.
AirPods.
Cryptids.
What if everything is fake and nothing is real?
But it's just a conspiracy theory, so let's get started.
There is a secret and powerful combine at work.
What we want, what we represent, what we endure.
Where else could a red-blooded American boy lie, kill, and cheat?
But in spite of this clear record, an amazing number of people have begun to scoff at the possibility of conspiracy at work today.
We'll take it from here.
A conspiracy is a real plot conducted in secret. A conspiracy theory is a belief that a group has acted in secret to influence events. Conspiracy theories are notoriously difficult to define. Are these simply imagined plots, or are they conspiracies that have yet to be proven?
Oh, absolutely.
Do I believe in conspiracy theories? Yes and no. It depends on the conspiracy theory.
Yes. Yes, I do.
You have to believe in conspiracy theories. They're like there. How can you not believe in them?
When I do believe in a conspiracy theory, it doesn't feel like a conspiracy theory anymore, just because it just like makes sense logically.
Because some of them are absolutely wild and actually are very harmful to other people. So those I tend to not believe. Like, usually politically driven ones aren't great.
I think they serve a purpose.
Yeah, I think you could find support for almost anything on some niche of the internet.
The Order of the Illuminati was an Enlightenment-age secret society that was later dissolved. Early American conspiracy theories were highly influenced by the Enlightenment and the suspicion of the French Revolution.
Okay, as I understand it, it's basically about how a secret society of super powerful, influential people influence world history. Is that correct?
Paranoia manifested in theories about a strategic conspiracy to undermine American democracy. Common targets include both elite and marginalized scapegoats. Marginalized targets of these conspiracy theories have included Native Americans, Catholics, Jews, Freemasons, Japanese Americans, communists, and Muslims, among others. Through the late 1940s and the 1950s, U.S. Senator Joseph McCarthy spearheaded the Second Red Scare, which sought to uncover secret communists. By the 1960s, there was a major shift in conspiratorial thinking, which focused on the enemy within.
I believe that like corporations are like really like tracking what we do more than like the government even, because like I think corporations have a lot to gain from like understanding like our behavior patterns like online.
I mean, definitely surveillance. We're probably being watched and our data is being used for a lot more purposes than we know.
Oh, I do think that like all the like Alexas are like constantly listening to us, and like I think they're really creepy.
We talk about how the government is going to control us, and we literally are putting like headphones that are all on the same network into our ears, and then boom, we could be brainwashed in a minute. Think about that. Isn't that kind of insane? It's a little bit insane.
Every single thing we do is going to be controlled by Amazon. It's going to be like, welcome to your Amazon home. Would you like your Amazon meal? Because it's like already kind of like that.
Our data and our online presences are being monitored probably in a lot more ways than we could ever be aware of, like the average person can be aware of.
MTV News. You hear it first.
American Studies professor Peter Knight has noticed another major shift occurring in the 1990s that is characterized by a lack of political commitment. These theories are half serious, half ironic, and believed due to a general atmosphere of uncertainty. With the expansion of technology and invention of social media, the internet is a fertile breeding ground for conspiracy theories, some of which are popularized for their ironic content or found new life as memes.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
Moon landing was fake is a classic.
I was like in an Uber once, and I have like some wild Uber rides, and my Uber driver spent like, I think we were going to the airport, and so he spent like a good like 20-30 minutes telling me how the moon landing was fake. And like, and this is what I was talking about, where I'm like very open to suggestion in the moment, because in the moment I was like, damn, like, I don't have any counterpoints. Like, this seems real. But then I thought about it after, and I was like, no, like, that makes no sense.
I think the moon landing was real.
The moon landing was fake. I didn't believe it, and then there was an entire video on BuzzFeed, which I like hate myself for admitting. But like they really went into it and like proved how easy it could have been to replicate what the moon looked like. And like honestly, the more footage that you look at from the like moon landing, the less real it gets. I'm just saying.
I don't see how we could have faked it. I think the whole idea of faking it would have been a lot harder than making it real.
And I feel like it totally makes sense with the space race because America was losing.
I don't know. It seems like a very like American-centric concern that like you guys landed or you didn't. I'm a Filipino. Like we're very removed from this conspiracy theory.
The 9/11 Truther movement, which asserts that al-Qaeda did not orchestrate the attack alone or at all, has accused the real culprits of being anyone from corporate agents to George W. Bush himself. In the 2010s, this conspiracy theory became a popular meme template. The comedic element emerging from this conspiracy simultaneously made it less serious but more pervasive.
You know, like 9/11 was like a thing created by like our president to like create mass hysteria or like amongst like Americans and stuff.
Well, okay. If I'm gonna go really in depth into Bush did 9/11, obviously the whole idea of Bush did 9/11 is like half that it's a joke. But if we're talking about foreign policy that is destabilizing and promotes terrorism backed by the United States in Afghanistan that then promotes people to hate the United States and attack it, then I guess you could make the argument that Bush inadvertently did 9/11 or the War on Terror and the Cold War did 9/11 for being factual.
The Flat Earth movement is another conspiracy theory that has resulted in an abundance of Twitter memes.
I was in a flat earther group. I don't believe in flat earth, but listen, okay. These flat earthers, they're crazy. But they had this whole thing, their like mindset is like the world is like flat, right? And the borders of the earth are like these giant ice walls that we've never discovered before. And like the moon landing didn't exist, but somehow like the moon is a real thing, but the moon is round and not the earth. So try to make that make sense.
As absurd as these conspiracy theories are, the internet has allowed them to flourish. Other outlandish and absurdist conspiracy theories that have found a new home online include Ted Cruz being the Zodiac Killer, gay frogs, Prince Charles is a vampire, and Tupac Shakur is still alive, just to name a few.
Hi everyone, I'm going to be talking about a conspiracy theory today, and this one is the one of Larry Stylinson. And if you didn't know, Larry Stylinson is a combination of two names, Harry Styles and Louis Tomlinson. Basically, the idea is that they are in a romantic relationship with one another. I don't believe in it, but sometimes when I reflect on it, I still kind of do.
Would I be surprised if a dead celebrity was actually alive? I would almost be less surprised if a celebrity was actually dead and then replaced by a different celebrity.
Oh my god, wait, Avril Lavigne?
I feel like I'm very like open to suggestion in the moment. And so if someone's like telling me like, oh yeah, like Avril Lavigne is dead, I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Avril Lavigne is not Avril Lavigne. Avril Lavigne is some fake.
But then afterwards I'm like, wait, that doesn't make any sense.
And they were like, oh, this is just a cover-up, this is a beard, like this is not his kid, they're using fake pictures, it's a fake baby, and so on. This is when I stopped believing in Larry, is during Babygate.
Billie Eilish being a Hollywood plant? Do you guys believe in that? I do. Come on now. Like a couple months ago, she's like, hip-hop is just full of lies. Okay, bitch, whatever. Whatever, Billie Eilish. Love her, though.
While it can be entertaining and even fun to believe in conspiracy theories, it is important to recognize their political influence and historical weaponization against marginalized groups. Long before Twitter and long before the Enlightenment, conspiracy theories and conspiratorial thinking have been used to spread anti-Semitic rhetoric. In the Middle Ages, anti-Semitism was the focus of several conspiracy theories, including one that propagated Jewish people were responsible for the death of Jesus. In the 19th century, an emerging canard known as the Judeo-Masonic conspiracy theory suggested Jews and Freemasons were secretly plotting world domination. Starting in the 1920s, the Nazi Party disseminated anti-Semitic literature and visual propaganda that exploited this conspiracy theory to spread hate and fear. This narrative of the Jewish puppet master is sadly still a popular foundation of white supremacist rhetoric today. The Pittsburgh synagogue shooter cited this conspiracy theory hours before carrying out horrific acts of violence.
I think that like the US government like intervenes a lot in like what they perceive to be threatening to like their values. So like for example, I think this is like a really hot take, I guess, but I think that the US government like played a role in like MLK's death. That just like makes sense to me.
And yet, as easy as it is to dismiss conspiracy theories, there is also tangible evidence of conspiracies that have taken place.
This is the story of a 30-year search by U.S. intelligence agencies to perfect mind control.
The CIA funded and supported and encouraged hundreds of young psychiatrists to experiment with this drug.
For years, there were theories of government mind control experiments. In 1975, it became public that the CIA ran a project called MKUltra from 1953 to 1973 that experimented with LSD and sometimes dosed and observed people without their consent in an effort to study the drug's effect for interrogation purposes.
Activities that are not public, that are not open. They include espionage, they include subversion, which more precisely, I suppose, could be described as the effort to influence the course of events in other countries covertly.
The CIA's plots have extended far beyond psychedelics. Over the decades, reports have come out detailing the CIA's attempts to overthrow or weaken foreign governments. This includes former CIA plots to assassinate Fidel Castro using exploding cigars and other contraptions, as well as Operation Ajax, in which the CIA and MI6 plotted to overthrow democratically elected Iranian Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh and reinstall Mohammad Reza Pahlavi.
One blind date in 1953 involved the overthrow of the premier of Iran. The CIA was clearly involved.
The government of Mossadegh, if you recall history, was overthrown by the action of the Shah. Now that we encouraged the Shah to take that action, I will not deny.
An action to overthrow an established government is essentially an act of war.
We oppose United States policy in Guatemala because it is an interventionist policy. The Americans come here and put presidents into office and remove them.
Y ponen presidentes.
Oh, I know, they're very real attempts to disrupt foreign countries' administrations. I think about I mean, again, if we're going into more political discourse, the coup in Chile was really backed by the U.S. and specifically economists in the U.S. The whole neoliberal government that fucked over everybody was hugely supported by the United States, and I think they continually go into other countries with the aim of increasing our own wealth or capitalist ventures at the expense of the lives of other people in the global south. But I don't think that's a conspiracy as much as it is just a fact of foreign policy. It just sucks.
The confirmation that the government has participated in real plots makes it that much harder to distinguish between imagined conspiracies and actual abuses of power. Awareness of conspiracy theories and conspiracies can both arm the public with information and spread misinformation. It is important to understand the source of conspiracy theories and their use as a vehicle for political weaponization. Conspiracy theories push the public to question everything, which adds a healthy skepticism or a lack of trust in society, depending on who you ask.
I think they serve a purpose. I'm not sure if I can say directly that I believe in any specific conspiracy theories, but I think they do serve the purpose of having people interrogate what's happening around them, and whether that should be changed or not if something's happening without them knowing.
Conspiracy theories are somewhat of a folktale. Through generations, we've kind of added fake news to it or some type of mass hysteria to it in order to give them some sort of credibility. I guess in a lot of, these conspiracy theories are just people who really want to believe one thing, and so they try to, biases come across when they try to convey their point of views. But I think there is some sort of validity and some sort of point to be made that there are people who do believe in these things. Like, maybe it's a failure on our part as a society that there are people who believe that the earth is actually flat. Maybe it's a failure in our society that there are people who believe that the moon landing wasn't real. Are we not educating people enough? Are we making a society in such a way that people can't believe the government? Like, what does that say about, structural things as a whole?
I think they have value whether or not you believe in them, in the sense that they get you to question whatever established truth is around you, and if you discover that whatever is being told you is true, then it has more validity by you questioning it instead of just believing it, no matter what.